We really think that time is money, and it's never been more true today than ever. And what we're trying to do then is first and foremost to do the home deliveries when people are able to accept them. So we do all the deliveries during evenings and weekends when people are more likely to be home. And that's the spare time. That's the most valuable time. So when we do those deliveries, we always promise the exact minute delivery time well in advance, so that you know, and you can actually choose it yourself as well, so that we respect the timing as much as possible. Hi everybody. Hope that you will keep up with the English, but unfortunately my German isn't good enough. My name is Simon Strindberg, and I am the Chief Commercial Officer at Budbee. And in basic, we do home deliveries, and we try to do them really, really good. And I know that most of you probably haven't heard about Budbee, and at least most of you haven't tried Budbee. We are a Swedish company right now operating in Sweden, Finland, Denmark, and the Netherlands. And I'm just going to give you a short background so you know a little bit about our fairly short journey so far. So the idea about Budbee was invented in 2015, so it's not that long ago. Took a lot of development in the beginning, and in the second half of 2016, we did the first minimum viable product, the first testing. So what you can see on that picture is actually from our office. We used the office space as the terminal. But we found a few larger merchants in Sweden that really believed in the ideas that we had and were willing to try this out. And the consumers really loved it, and of course the merchants then loved it as well, and we got funding and started to scale this, and we really tried to industrialize this and make it suitable for large scale and really huge volumes of packages. And a long story short, or a year story, in the end of 2018, we were the largest home delivery company in the Nordics. So it was a pretty quick journey from the testing to the largest home delivery company. And right now we are doing a nationwide launch in the Netherlands, which is really exciting as well. And then we're looking into Germany, which is fantastic. So hit me up if you have any questions afterwards. So what are we doing? That's the most important part. So this is our mission, but to put it in simple words, I would just say that we want to create a fantastic delivery experience. And we truly believe that what differentiates the logistical player from another is not the fact that you can transport the product from A to B, not even from A to B within a given time frame. It's all about the experience, the way you can adapt to each and every individual consumer and actually be the best home delivery experience for that person that day. And that's what we want to do, and we want to do so to make sure that because life is so much more important than wasting time on bad deliveries, basically. So in short, I don't have that much time to go in depth, but we really focus on the B2C. So the consumers, the merchants' consumers. We partner up with the merchants, and we see the consumers as the important part. And two things out of many that we're trying to do to really create this delivery experience that we're aiming for. One crucial thing is time. We really think that time is money, and it's never been more true today than ever. And what we're trying to do then is first and foremost to do the home deliveries when people are able to accept them. So we do all the deliveries during evenings and weekends when people are more likely to be home. And that's the spare time. That's the most valuable time. So when we do those deliveries, we always promise the exact minute delivery time well in advance, so that you know, and you can actually choose it yourself as well, so that we respect the timing as much as possible. The second part is the customization. Even if you do 100,000 home deliveries, you need to build a system that can actually make 100,000 different home delivery experiences to actually fulfill each and every consumer's need. I'm 100% sure if I pick two people here in the audience and you're going to get a delivery tomorrow, you will have different preferences how a good delivery experience would be. And so far, we've gathered more than 1 million home delivery reviews, and it's a good score so far, 4.9 out of 5, so some things is right at least. But there's so much more you can do here. So I'm skipping the B2B part because it's more about partnering, no secrets, we see the consumer as the merchant's consumer, and we want to help the merchant to as big extent as possible to learn more about them and give them a good service. And how is this possible? It's definitely not by just building an app, and that's a misconception that many other people have about our company. But we're 50-50 logistics and tech. Sometimes we feel like a tech company, and sometimes like a logistical company. And we've taken so much inspiration from the great companies out there that has been delivering packages for a long time, and they have really fine-tuned the processes to handle large volumes. But we think that that is one part, and we need to invest heavily in that. And to be best, you need to think outside the box as well. But the thing that differentiates us when it comes to logistics, I think that it's the fact that we have 50% of our resources within engineering, mathematicians and any kind of engineering, basically. And we use that technology innovation on the logistical problem, and that's really what creates the value, I would say. So to make some examples that we're not just doing an app, is that right now, I'm not sure if it's correct today because we're adding new vans every day almost, but we are using about 500 vans today. We have about 20 distribution centers in 4 countries, reaching about 20 million consumers. And actually, the sorting machines, that's one of the logistical areas where we thought outside the box. We didn't think anything on the market was really actually fulfilling our needs, at least not to the right price. So we built our own sorting machines, and that's been a big success, actually, because then we have them fully integrated in all our systems, and all other things like line hauls and traffic control, etc., that is necessary to do this in a good way. Going into where we are a bit more unique in terms of logistics, it's the technology part. And I would say that the first bullet up here, the machine learning, AI, it's a lot of buzzwords. But basically, we do not route any drivers manually. It's to put it very simply, we put in X amount of packages and Y amount of drivers, and within minutes, the algorithms put out exactly when every package should be delivered and which driver should deliver it and communicate that to the consumer. And that is basically the secret sauce about a lot of things that we do. And after each delivery session, it's comparing the estimations with the actuals to become a bit smarter for the next day. And combining that with the driver app that instructs the driver in all areas to do this as efficient as possible. So previous speakers talking about the problematic things if you're picking things from a van and it's in the inside. The app instructs the driver so that everything is always loaded in the sequence that it will be delivered, so it's really easy. The software in the machine takes picture of each parcel, so you have that in the app, so you know what you're looking for, etc. And then we built the UX for the consumer, which is really important, because that's where the consumer really sees the values. They get all the information that is relevant, and they have the possibility then to tailor the experience so it actually fits their evening today. And it can be very different for the same consumer 2 different days. And to put it all in perspective, I would say that the biggest strength of the tech part is that everything is interconnected and built in-house, because that makes it possible for the consumer to actually be in control over the sorting machine in a specific city, and settings that you do at home actually change things throughout the chain. So, looking at the consumer journey, it's actually not a big difference when it comes to the process on the website, etc. The only difference might be that our technology makes it possible, if the merchant is tech-savvy enough and interested, to include the logistics parts a bit earlier. So this is one example here where the merchant is pinging us and asking when can this be delivered, and we can to this consumer, and we can then print that on the product page that this will be delivered today. And that's of course something that could be the conversion sort of the thing that makes the consumer actually buy that today. In the checkout it's the same, but the big difference is the UX. And here you do all all the settings that you like, as I've been talking about, and it's hard settings, so to say, that you select you can select a day, a time, etc. But it's also very soft things to potentially be a logistics company, where a very popular feature among parents with small kids, for example, is to use the setting that makes the driver knock on the door and whisper and send a text message a few minutes before he arrives or she arrives, so that you don't wake the kids up. That's a small softer thing that's really appreciated. And the basic thing is that even though we focus 100% on the consumer, we see that the consumer satisfaction and the consumer experience really drives values for merchants as well. So this is just take one quick example with a Nordic cosmetic retailer called Bangerhead. We did a 6-month study, and a long story short, we could see that after 6 months, presenting us with the most common shipping method in the Nordics, we had a 29% uplift in average order value. But that was actually not the primary reason for Bangerhead to still, after this campaign or this test, push our delivery service. This was the fact that they saw that new consumers for them that selected Budbee, they had a much higher likelihood, about 12–13%, to come back and become a loyal consumer. So that was the biggest value for them, that they got repetitive customers because they got a better experience of the purchase at Bangerhead. So that's that thing. But there's plenty of other things as well, like we're trying to really help the merchants in terms of customer service and just delivering the best service possible to the consumer. Looking at the last slide, actually, 15 minutes is a short time. We know as well, I'm the oldest guy at Budbee almost. I'm whopping 33, and we are getting close to 100 employees right now. But I think it's a very different sort of take on the environment in the generations below me that is joining our company right now. And it's the fact that you can't do what we're doing without taking responsibility. And it's a very natural thing that we are a part of the problem when we drive cars. And that's not the best thing for the environment if you do it with the traditional way. But that makes it also that we are a part of the solution in this case. So we have had the philosophy from day one that until we can be proactive, we're going to be reactive. We're going to take care of the crap that we put into the world. So since the day one, we've always compensated for the carbon dioxide that we actually put out there. And now we're also doing a little bit more just to be on the safe side. And we don't really see that as something to brag about at all. But what's more to brag about is the steps you do to be completely green. So right now we're doing bicycle deliveries in a few cities, growing that as quick as possible. It's a different challenge for the algorithm, of course. The traffic flows can be very different, etc. We're also building the first terminal right now that we're building from ground up and not renting from a property owner. And we're building that completely green, covered in solar panels. And the idea with that terminal is not only that it should produce the electricity for the terminal, it should, of course, then support the fleet of electrical vans that we use in that area. So right now, all the new vans that are added are electrical to make sure that we do what we can to proactively stop compensating and actually not polluting the world. So that was the quick version of Budbee. And to put it in short, what we're here to do is to use technical innovation to put them and solve logistical problems to create the best home delivery experience possible for consumers out there. And if you're selling things to the Netherlands, let us know. We're launching there. And unless you just give me a call when you read that we are launching Germany. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you for keeping it short and keeping the time. Maybe just one question. What motivated you to start a completely new logistics company?
To be honest, I worked at a company that has a booth out here before, Klarna, within payments. And I did so for quite a long time. And when Klarna was launched, it was going into a business where a lot of older, bigger banks had been doing business for a long time. And it was a new company coming in with technology and consumer focus. And it succeeded. And during my time at Klarna, I saw that there was so much innovation in terms of everything related to e-commerce. But in my point of view, at least in Sweden, where I live, I thought that everything is evolving, but not the last mile. It's still not really doing that. And our belief was that if we do this, powered by new technology, only focusing on the consumer, we will be able to stay ahead, and then it might work.
Good. Interesting to see. It's a huge venture, what you do, but good luck to you.
Thank you so much.